Casio, Casio, please don't leave Casio. Cassie's got a new guy, time to send herself away. I try for every cent. And I travel to Australia, and I travel there by train. Hello, and today we're doing Championship predictions for match day 41 of the 2020-21 season. That was the song of the weekend, Casio, by George Ezra. And what is the theme of the week? It's Steve BACKSHALL, and specifically Steve BACKSHALL's Deadly 60. What a great wildlife hunter. And, he likes a bit of wildlife. Fair enough. The colour of the week this time is going to be white. And let's have a quick look back at how we got on in week 40 predictions. So we got ourselves an alright score. We got ourselves a correct goal difference in the Reading win over Derby. We went with a 2-0. It was, of course, 3-1. We went with a correct result in the Barnsley win over Luton. The Forest win over QPR. We'll take that. And also a correct result in the the Cardiff loss against Sheffield Wednesday, as well as the Norwich win over Huddersfield. Did anyone see it 7-0? I don't think so. But the main thing to wrap up is that we scored this week a fairly respectable score of 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right, we scored 17 points. So 17 points has put us onto an overall total of 920 points. Can we better that this week? Let's hope so. And the first game is Watford against Reading. Friday night kickoff on Sky Sports, under the lights. All of the lights, all of the lights. And as Eminem once said, you better lose yourself in the music the moment. You better never let it go. You only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This is a big opportunity. It really is. We need to win this game against Reading. It simply is massive. Because Reading are up there as well. They're looking to get in the title. Well, not the title. The playoff hopes. And by the way, if you're wondering, where's Scottish Premiership predictions? Well, we thought the season was over. And then I realised that the Scottish Premiership, it goes into 2 phases. And then you got another 5 match days. And I just can't be bothered with that, man. So we did a decent job of that. But for now, we move, all right? Championship time. But with this one, it's a big game. And I think Watford have enough. We did lose the reverse fixture to a very disappointing game. 1-0 to Reading. I think the only goal came from Puskas, if I'm right in thinking. The main thing to say is we've come so far since then, and I think that we should be winning. But who knows in the Championship? It's a lottery at times, and let's hope we can do enough. But I'm going to go for a Watford win. We've got to be optimistic in every game, and hopefully bounce back from that draw with Middlesbrough. So I'll go with Watford 3, Reading 1. We ultimately have 6 more finals to play to try and make sure we get to the destination of the Premier League. And ideally from that, maybe 4 wins, 3 wins more likely, but 4 wins to definitely make sure. And we're still 2 wins ahead of 3rd place. So, about that. But it's going to be a tough test. We know this. We just got to go into it and try and carry on a stronger home form. So 3-1 in my prediction. Goals. The first one from Ken Semmer, I reckon. Or it could be Ismail Assar. We've gone with Ismail Assar, captain, fantasy football, gaffer.io. So, it would be nice for Assar to get loads of points. But Semmer to get the first goal on 25 minutes. And then Watford make it 2 through my favourite Watford player, Will Hughes. And he scores on 53 minutes. And then Watford get a third to really show their quality. And that is from William Troost-Ekong. And I reckon that goal will come on 79 minutes. And then a late consolation for Reading to reply. The visitors get a goal through Lucas João on 86 minutes. And that wraps up my prediction for the first game. Let's get into the next few games. We've got Millwall versus Swansea next. And Swansea, if they lose this game, I think top 2 is out of the question. Probably is out of the question now because Norwich and Watford have just been so consistent. But I don't know. Millwall are one of those teams. They can beat you on any day. But Swansea have just been so poor recently. conceding late goals, just not getting wins, and it's been a bit of a nightmare for the defence. I'm going to back you to win this one, though. I think you should have enough against Millwall, but we'll see. We're going to go for Millwall 0, Swansea City 1. And the only goal, I reckon, will come from Andre Ayew. The wrong one there. Got his brother. Now it's Barnsley versus Millwall. Middlesbrough, not Millwall. We just did Millwall. And I'm going for a 2-0 Barnsley win. I think that Barnsley are going to be pretty confident to try and push into those playoffs. And it's a big game. You know, there's a surprise side, Barnsley, to try and make a late push for that top 6. But I think they're going to be able to do it. Middlesbrough are quite leaky. You know, they haven't been amazing recently. The point against Watford was, you know, they were frustrating Watford. But I think Barnsley will get the win here. So Barnsley 2, Middlesbrough 0. Goals from, let's say, Alex Mowat and Carlton Morris. Now we've got a game between Birmingham, against Stoke City. And this will be a big game, obviously, for Birmingham more so, because they don't want to slide in that dangerous part of the table. Stoke, well, is playoffs out the question? Not necessarily. But, you know, they really do need to start getting a few more results. And I just don't think they're going to do it here. I think Birmingham have been quite impressive recently under the new management of Lee Bowyer. So I'm going to go for a draw. Birmingham 1, Stoke 1. Then it's Bournemouth against Coventry, and I think this is a comfortable Bournemouth win. You know, Bournemouth have struggled for form, and that's why push for the playoffs might be difficult, but, you know, they might be able to do it with those games in hand. And I think this is the sort of game they should be winning. Coventry, they're, you know, always putting up a fight, but they're not quite getting the results, and I think that Bournemouth should be comfortable here. So we'll go for Bournemouth 3, Coventry City 1. And goal scorers here, I'm going to go for 2 goals from the in-form Danjuma. And then the goal for Coventry, we shall say it's going to be from the midfielder, Matty James. And then the third goal for Bournemouth, we shall go for a goal from the midfielder, Philip Billing. All right, now it's a game between Bristol City and Nottingham Forest. And this sees Chris Hughton take on Nigel Pearson. So 2 very old-fashioned managers going at it. And I feel like this is the sort of game that Bristol City really do need to win, because their form has not been good. And Forest have done enough to stay up, I think, but they're still a team you can target, and I think that Bristol City at home will just have the advantage. So I'm going for Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 1. And goal scorers here, I don't know, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. Now it's a game between Cardiff and, I said Bristol City, yeah. So Bristol City 2, Nottingham Forest 1. I'm sticking with that. Then it's Cardiff against Blackburn. And this is an interesting one because Cardiff just lost an embarrassing scoreline of 5-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. And then, obviously, their opponents this week, Blackburn, also are in poor form. So something's got to give here, you'd imagine. But I'm going to fancy a win here for Cardiff because they are the home team. They surely will get back to better ways. That Wycombe game, Sheffield Wednesday game was probably just a blip. So we'll say Cardiff 2, Blackburn 0. And then goal scorers, I shall say the first one is from Morrison at the back. And then the second goal, Jacob Murphy. I think it's Jacob, or it might be Josh. I always get those confused. Derby against Norwich is next, and this is obviously a big, big game for Norwich, because if they win this, they are Premier League. I say they are Premier League. I think that's the case. It was something maybe to do with Brentford, and if they lost, maybe then Norwich had to win, then it would be promotion. But I'm pretty sure if they win this next game, they're promoted. So, you know, it's amazing that Norwich have been able to allow themselves to be in this position because they've just been winning games after games. And I think they're probably going to win this one, but I'm just being a bit hopeful. I still dream of a Watford. Title win. So you've got to keep the dream alive. Let's go for. All right. Derby County 0, Norwich City 0. No goals, but if there are goals, I'd like them to come from Timo Pukki and Max Aarons. But ultimately, I shall say a stalemate, because basically, if Watford can win the title, even if it might be impossible, the only way it probably realistically has to happen is Norwich's next win comes on the final day. So until then, all the teams hopefully can just stop Norwich's progress. I don't know, but it's just wishful thinking, really. let's move on to the next game, and that game is between Huddersfield and Rotherham. Big game. Huddersfield just could get dragged into it at the end of the day. They've just not been defending well enough, and I don't know. I feel like this game is big because Rotherham, they really got smacked in the face in the last game, and that was an unfortunate defeat to Wickham. But talking about teams getting smacked in the face, poor Huddersfield, 7-0. I mean, Timu Puki, hat-trick, Buendia, Cantwell, Kieran Dow, Jordan Hugill. You might as well just name the whole squad on that score sheet. It was an absolutely abysmal display from Huddersfield, and they need to bounce back against the team around them in Rotherham. So, yeah, it's interesting. They're sitting in 19th right now with just a few points separating them and Rotherham, but obviously you've got to remember 3 games in hand for Rotherham. So a win here for Rotherham would be massive, and to close the gap on Birmingham and make it just 4 points gap. So I'm going to go for a Rotherham draw. I think they have enough to get something out of this, even if Huddersfield do not lose. So Huddersfield 1, Rotherham 1 is what I'm predicting. All right, now it's Preston against Brentford. Now, Preston, I tell you what, I actually love you, Preston, because you have helped us so much in this promotion race. Because, look, you've beaten Norwich City. I'm sorry, you drew with Norwich City. You've beaten Swansea. Like, you're just helping us out so much. Can you go the distance and do it for Brentford? Because that would be beautiful. Brentford are currently on the same number of games played as Swansea. We know that Swansea's game with Sheffield Wednesday is due to be played. And we're going to go ahead and predict that just because, why not? The game on the 13th. But ultimately, it's going to be interesting. I just really pray Preston can do something. But again, it's probably wishful thinking, but I'm going to go for a Preston win. Let's see what happens. We'll go for Preston, North End 2, Brentford 1. And the goals here from Ivan Toney. And then for Preston, we'll go for Scott Sinclair. And then the final goal for the home side. Let's go for a little bit of... Who is it? It's the man that got a yellow card versus Middlesbrough. It's Brad Potts. All right, in that 2-1 Preston win, let's quickly move on to the game that is between QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. And this is also a big game. QPR, realistically, they're out of the playoffs, but they're still one of the teams with the worst, up and down form in this championship. So it could be a shout here. Could be a chance for Sheffield Wednesday, especially off the back of that amazing win over Cardiff. So I feel like QPR, at home, they're quite hard to predict. They can be really good with Charlie Austin, and they can also really be quite disappointing. And I feel like right now, Sheffield Wednesday, they're getting confidence. They're ticking along with points. Yeah, sure, they weren't able to beat Watford and Norwich, but that was always going to be tough. But they're getting the odd point here and there. They're also getting a bit of a disciplinary problem. But I feel like they're going to hold their nerve here and get a win. I just got a feeling. So I'm going to go for QPR 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. And then the final game of the weekend is Wickham versus Luton. And we've got some, obviously, rearranged games after this. But Wickham against Luton, it's big for Wickham. It really is. They need wins. Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham, they've all got games in hand over Wickham. And Wickham simply have to get wins. Because 2 points separate Sheffield Wednesday and Wickham. And Luton, well, they're sitting pretty nice in the position of 13th. Not much going on right now. 2 defeats in the bounce. Could be the right time to play Luton. So I'm going for it again. Wickham to win. Crucially, Wickham Wanderers 3, Luton Town 2. And goal scorers here. I reckon that another penalty goal is coming from Jakobsen. And I also think that the likes of, James Collins and Onyedinma and Ukpizu will all get on the score sheet in a 5-goal thriller that goes the way of Wickham Wanderers. And that wraps up my predictions for Matchday 41, but don't forget rescheduled games, which we'll touch on now. So the first one is Rotherham QPR, another big game in Rotherham's hope to stay up, but I don't think it's going to go their way this time. Rotherham 0, QPR 3. Then it's Huddersfield versus Bournemouth. Another big game, but for Bournemouth this time. And it's looking to try and get into those playoff positions. And, they've got a decent squad, so they could do it. I'll say Huddersfield 1, Bournemouth 3. And goals here, Dan Juma again. I feel like he's just so lethal right now. And the next goal, Dominic Solanke. Then the goal back for Huddersfield, we shall go for, I don't know, let's go for the forward, that is Campbell. And then the third goal for Bournemouth is going to be from defender Steve Cook. And finally, we have Sheffield Wednesday versus Swansea. Now, again, it's wishful thinking, but no, I'm joking. I'm not going to go for a Sheffield Wednesday win as much as I would love it. This game in hand for Swansea, it needs to go Watford's way. And I think we just got to focus on ourselves. If we focus on ourselves, hopefully we get promoted. But if not, playoffs it is, and that will be nervy, and that will be stressful, and I just can't take it. My brain will explode. But most likely, it should be okay. So, yeah, let's see if Swansea can keep dropping points. But I think, realistically, it will end Sheffield Wednesday 0, Swansea 2. And the goals here, I'm going to say from Mark Gay in the defence for Swansea. And in the clean sheet win, the second goal for Swansea, I think, will come from Connor Horahan. And I'm pretty sure that wraps up my predictions for match day 41 of the Championship. Indeed it does. So smash a like on the video, comment your score predictions down below, and give it a like. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.